You guys, just want to make a short video on Link 16 since a lot of people kind of are not understanding it. But yeah, I'll just start off with the data cartridge and kind of run through some of the concepts here. So there's two files. Just worry about file A for BMS mainly because file A and B are just kind of for like real life squadrons where they don't want to keep making like Link 16 plans and loads that they can have just like two setup things. So like red air can be file B and blue air can use file A, so they don't have to like keep recreating the wheel. But so I'll just go over file A, and it's the same for file B basically. The flight lead, it'll pull in when you load your Link 16 plan, but basically it indicates like the AWACS that you're the flight lead, so it sends like target assignments and stuff to you. ETR, I wouldn't worry about it. It's the external like time reference. So like if it's using like GPS time, don't click that unless it's part of the Link 16 plan that's given to you. It's just it's if the Link 16 network uses GPS time. Call sign, it's going to be the first and last digit of your like call sign. So Mako's MO, then 61, the number just indicates the number. And then if you like cursor over someone, you'll see their call sign on the HSD, so you can kind of tell who you're looking at. Voice channel A and B, not for the F-16. Mission channel is where like surveillance tracks and stuff come from like the AWACS. Just leave that on what the Link 16 plan gives you, or else you're not going to see like surveillance tracks. Fighter channel, it's how you like send and receive like mission, or not mission assignments. It's how you send and receive like lock lines, like targets, SPs, and mark points. But the message J12.6 that would go over here isn't implemented yet. But if you're watching in the future, that's what the fighter channel is. Special channel also isn't really implemented. It's for like seed, US only. So don't really worry about that. TACAN, it's TACAN. It's not cosmic. So the flight STNs. So the STNs are a 5-digit number from 0 to 7, and it identifies like who's who. So your flight STNs is who's in your flight. So 1 through 4, if you have 2 people, we'll just put 2 people there. I wouldn't like go putting extra, like if there's two ships, I wouldn't put it there because eventually it's to determine like who the recipients are for C2 messages, like if they're like target assignments and stuff. The mission channel, 5 through 8 are just like, or it says 1 through 4 here, but on the DED it'll say 5 through 8. These are just team members, which is like another flight of interest that you want to watch out for. And if they're on the same fighter channel as you, you'll see their lock lines, SPs, and mark points when they send them out. So that's nice. You can share targets and stuff. Donors, they're just like people you want to receive SA from in the mission eventually. We can't really do it right now. They just kind of show up as a green circle with a dot in the middle. That's kind of the only difference in BMS right now. But eventually, if they're on the same fighter channel as you, you'll see them like locking targets and stuff. And so it could just give you some extra SA to see like what they're doing. But they're kind of not super useful right now because they don't transmit data on the fighter channel. But that's it for the data cartridge. I'll move on to the startup differences now. So before we get in the air, I just wanted to go over the different messages you might hear me talk about. Link 16 operates off of like J series messages, so each message kind of is a different thing. So the ones highlighted in yellow are the ones that are in BMS right now. The blue highlight ones are ones that we could get in the future. The big one is J12.6, and because that's how you share targets air to air and air to ground. So like if you lock something, it'll show people like lock lines via the J12.6 message. And if you send a mark point, it'll be J12.6. And if you send your speed, it'll be J12.6. So these are just kind of like, just for reference, if you hear people talking about J messages, you can look at this chart to see what they're kind of talking about. For the startup, it's pretty same. But I'm just gonna breeze through the normal startup and then just show you the differences now with Link 16. I don't follow the startup procedure exactly, so don't crucify me, but just gonna run through this quickly. And just for some terms, MIDS is the actual like radio, and Link 16 is like the network. So the MIDS is just the low volume terminal. That's what LVT means. Multifunction Information Distribution System. That's what MID stands for. Right. Looking for 20% RPM and SEC light. Secondary light out. Just give it a couple more seconds. All right. Alright, just gonna wait for the engine to come online, then we can go with the rest of the startup here. It's like we're good, I'm not gonna have a hot start, so. Alright. Oh. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so you just power on MMC stations, MFD, UFC, data link. You can turn on your IGE. Just wait 10 seconds for the MMC to turn on. So I just kind of do the rest of the sweep here. That on there, flash, flick is reset, bit. For that again, and we'll just wait like 3 extra seconds. So that's had to have been about 10 seconds. So then we can flip on the mids LVT knob to on, power the mids. We just want to monitor this DTE page here, and it should it'll say like Link 16 init required at the bottom once the mids bit test is done, and then we can hit the load button. So we just want to, if we don't wait for the mids init required and hit the load, this thing's going to flash and go ballistic. See, there you go. So now we can probably see, we can monitor the net status. We'll hit load here. Just wait for that to do its thing. Just going to go through everything here. Alright, so you can see our sync is in progress. We're course sync with the network, fine sync. Okay, we're good. Then it pulled in all of our data. It doesn't have a bunch of STNs because I switched missions, so don't worry about that. And that's it for the startup. So I will see you in the air. Alright, so we're in the air here. We're on the like Link 16. Sorry, caution. Stores config. We're in the tactical engagement here. So you can see, if you look at your HSD and your wingman is not blue and he's not a donor. And if you want to add him, for some reason he wasn't loaded in the DTC properly, you can cursor over him, and I'll just go over this data here real quick. So MO62, Mako 62, it's in F-16, 20,000 feet, bearing, he's heading 286, 240 knots. Has 4 AMRAAM, 0 sidewinders, 2 harms, which looks about right. He's fighter channel 19. He's high quality. His STN is 13032. He's on UHF frequency 256550, but this isn't implemented properly. It's a bug. It just always shows their UHF 6. This is how much fuel they have, so 10,000 pounds. in mission channel 42. So let's try and add this guy as our wingman here, like he should be. So we'll go to the STN page. We are number 1, so we're gonna go down to number 2. We're gonna hit 13032, and he should. Oh, there he is, number 2. He's blue. We're looking good. Now, say we wanted to be number 3, like we wanted to change our own STN or position in the flight. We'll put 13033, and then we could cursor over to here to say we're number 3. So now we just changed our own STN to 13033. And then we'd probably have to want to go over here and change our flight lead status to off. But if you needed to change your STN, or say you were number 1 and you had like the wrong STN, you could just type 13031. There you go. Now say we want to monitor these guys up here, like we want them in our flight. So they're 56673, so we'd come down to 5 through 8 and hit 56671. Oh, I messed that up. 56671. So he should switch. Yep, he switched over. 56672 for his number 2. 56673. 56674. Okay, now they all switch to blue, and now we can see them as circles on the helmet and the HUD. We can see our wingman, 0.07 miles away. He's number 2. We wanted to make him a PDLT. We could cursor over him, TMS up, and now we have a dashed line always going to him. So we can see range, number 2, aspect 14 right, 20,000 feet. Pretty awesome. It's good for, you can monitor like bandits or just anybody that you want to keep SA on, range and stuff, which is nice. You want to check the leading edge or something. And then, so this is what it looks like if you cursor over a PPLI. If you cursor over a surveillance track, it's going to look a little different. So this is their track number. So Alpha Alpha 127. It's 1J20. Then this is like the position confidence. So yeah, if you want to add someone as a donor, you could hit this donor button, bring up the donor page. You could add this guy. So 4242571, and he should switch over to a donor. Yep, there you go. Got that dot. He's a donor now. But you can see he's on fighter channel 19. We're on fighter channel 85. So eventually, like once we get the J12.6 message, which is like lock lines and mark points and speeds and stuff, even though he's a donor, we won't be able to see any of that information from him because he's not on our fighter channel. So if in the future when they implement that and you're wondering why you're not getting information from your donors, you want to check the fighter channel because Raven, it may not be package marshaled. Set as it needs to be. Oh, one thing that I forgot to talk about. So these whites are unknown, yellow are suspect. So they meet like some of the ROE criteria, but not all of it. So they show as yellow. And then their type. If you don't know exactly what type, it'll say like fighter, attack, whatever. But if you do know their type, like with these J20s on here, it'll say the type aircraft. But that's about it for Link 16 for now. Have any questions, you could probably ask me and I'll try and answer them. Have a good rest of your day.